We are super, super happy to welcome Brad Allen and Mary Lane Sloan, the co-founders of The Art of Real Estate. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey Brad.
She's probably still trying to find, she hadn't been on the computer much.
I thought you guys were techy. Come on now.
So I got caught on a phone call. I was like, I have 1 minute.
That is the life of realtors, right? The life of realtors in real time. We are experiencing all of this.
Yeah.
So welcome guys. Thank you for being here with us again today. This past year has been filled with a lot of changes, market fluctuation, NAR settlements. And I think things have really gone from like a speed market in 21, 22, and a little bit into 23, shifting more into a skills and tools market. And let me know if you guys agree with this, but this is kind of what I've been hearing from a lot of people. I can't really think of anyone better to come on and talk to us about resilience in real estate, as you guys have 89 million in sales volume, 5 offices, adding agents, even though there's been all of these fluctuations and all of these crazy things going on. So we're really excited to kind of dig in with you today and get a little bit of your take on, what's kind of been happening. But before we get into that, fill us in a little bit about your background and how you all started the Art of Real Estate.
Well, we both got into the business in 2007, right as it was crashing the first time.
So even kind of worse, I don't know.
Yeah, so this is nothing. I tell all of our new agents, like, this is nothing. This is nothing. This will be fine. This will be fine.
Yeah, so we started as a team actually under a franchise, and the franchise went through some iterations. And so we decided to take our team from a team to a teamerage, if you will, and started investing into systems and people. And our whole experience has been crafting a great experience. And, everybody's got that cheesy saying that they try and do. But ours at the end of the day is really trying to give that exceptional experience. And, we ventured in and found HomeStack through our discovery. But over the last, we opened actual brokerage in 2013. So we had a down year for 89 million. I don't like to remember that number very often. So I like to remember the little better years. But yeah, we're in essence a teamerage, but we're not a hierarchical team, meaning Mary Lane doesn't get all the good stuff and everybody else has to deal with the crap like some teams do. We run it from an equal standpoint. So yeah, that's a little bit about our background.
Yeah. So, with kind of the new settlement rules, you can't even go and look at a house without first signing an agreement. I think for agents who are prepared with the right skill set and tool set, they're going to do great, right? They're going to go out and kind of business as usual. For some that aren't and who have not honed those skills really because of the speed market in previous years, this will probably be good for them to start to hone those skills and think about the tools that they want to set up in their tech stack. So let's break down a little bit about, as team leaders, what are the top 3 skills that you guys are seeing right now that you think are really paramount that agents should be investing their time into?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think number 1 is communication skills. I think technology is beautiful, but a lot of agents have kind of hidden behind the power of a text message and gotten away from a face-to-face, even if it's a virtual face-to-face conversation. There's a lot in the news that's not true, right? And I think the settlement has the public just as confused as ever about what it all means. And I think being able to communicate effectively with the public, but also with other agents, like gone are the days of just assuming or just, sliding a little DM or a little text message. Like, you really need to be able to communicate about how you're getting paid, about who's representing who. And I just think clear is kind. We say that all the time on our team, right? Like, communication has never been more important to the public and to other agents.
Yeah, even picking up the phone, right?
Right.
Some agents are afraid to even pick up the phone.
Right. Yeah. So I think getting back to kind of the basic clear communication, kind communication. You know, we're kind of all in this boat together. So extending grace to one another. You know, if a contract comes through or a lead comes through and you're like, I don't think they did the compensation right, you know, like walking that other person through it, you know, helping each other, because the end of the day, our job is to get our buyers and our sellers to the closing table and hopefully have that be the best experience for both sides as possible.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, despite kind of these ups and downs, you guys have still managed to grow a team, open several offices. How has the tech helped you to kind of scale a little bit? And, you know, why is it important? Because surprisingly, a lot of realtors don't want to use tech and don't want to go into that space, which is crazy. And then they're kind of wondering why they're struggling, why they can't scale to where they want to be. So why is it important to bring some of these tech tools into your business and, you know, to your agents as well?
Yeah, I think people are scared of tech. Let's just be honest. They're scared of what they don't know, right? And
Yeah.
we talk to agents all the time. Like, I'm a control freak. I'm a control freak. And yeah, they are. And the good agents have to be, because they're worried about the sign going out. They're worrying about the spelling. They're worrying about everything that's going on, but they don't want to give up the idea of giving it over to tech. And so when Mary Lynn and I kind of started our company, we were pre-kids at the time, and we realized that like having kids in real estate sucks. It just does, because you're wearing
It adds a
20.
new layer. It adds a new layer.
Oh, it sucked for me. Maybe
Yeah.
you had a different experience. Obviously, it sucked for me.
You have a
Um,
life.
I do. Currently, we'll see how this goes today. But all that being said, they don't want to give it up, but we understand that you're wearing 27 hats. And this is the only profession that I have found that you're wearing so many different hats for so many different sides, and you're super stressed. You're only paid if you're successful. You're spending money in the meantime, and you got to go home and be a spouse or a parent or a fur baby parent or whatever it is. And you cannot do it all. Like, you just can't. So if you want to scale, you're going to max out about 10. You're going to do 10 or 12 deals if you're a control freak, and that's going to be your litmus. But if you have some tech that can take a little bit off of you, then now you're rocking and rolling and you're letting things do what you're not good at. And I think that's why we're so big on tech, and our tech stack is so expensive per month, because we believe in it. And don't be fooled. We have to lead the horse to water to use tech even inside of our company. Like, we have great stuff, but we have to talk about our app every single month to our agents, just to remind them it's there and how it can be beneficial. So I get it. It's hard, especially if you're by yourself, but tech is how you're going to be able to have a home life at all if you use it
Yeah,
properly.
and I'll piggyback on that with just the app. Like, I think when you start talking to agents about just tech in general, and they get overwhelmed because they're like, oh, what's a CRM? Oh gosh, what's a this and what's a that? But if I could speak to just, if you're going to pick like one thing, well, I think a CRM is definitely important, but the app has not been as scary because, I mean, almost everybody, including, you know, all age groups, are pretty used to using Zillow. I
Yeah.
mean, Zillow, say what you want about them, but they are for the most part very user friendly. So I have yet to run into a demographic that was like, I don't know about Zillow. Like, everybody for the most part knows how to navigate Zillow, feels comfortable with Zillow, but where they are really frustrated is being stalked by random agents and random lenders and other advertisers on Zillow. People have like had enough. And so there is a real need out in the community for, you know, what HomeStack provides for us, which is a very user-friendly platform. It looks just like Zillow for the most part. So it's not new. It doesn't look scary. People are already familiar with search criteria, but it's private. And so when you offer that to them, they don't feel like you're selling them on your technology. They really feel like they now have somebody who's protecting their search criteria, who's protecting their right to look at property, whether they want to buy now or just look at what's happening in their neighborhood. And so I have found that to be a more softer side to the tech stack. It's not as techy seeming to the public.
Yeah, I love that. Not scary, softer side, HomeStack.
Yeah, there you go. There's your new tagline.
There you go. There you go. So what was like the aha moment where you guys were like, we need to get an app? Like,
Oh, I
how
know.
did that
It was
come
neat.
together?
So we used to use these buyer books. We would have buyer presentations just like we would have listing presentations. And for all the people getting in all the weeds with the NAR settlement, South Carolina's been doing buyer agency for a long time. So this is not new for us, some
Okay.
of it is different, but we did buyer consultations and we had this leather bound book.
Trapper
Um,
keeper. It was a trapper keeper, adult
well,
trapper keeper.
it didn't have the
Don't
flex that
like
came
put
over.
your
Yeah.
folders in and
Mhm.
Right.
doodle.
But it was the way that we would sit down with buyers, do our buyer consultation, go through the buying process, go through the lending process. It would have a place they could keep notes. And, it was our way to help that meeting feel professional as well as keep it organized for them.
Yeah.
They were not cheap. They were not cheap.
Yeah.
And we were meeting, Brad and I were having a partner meeting. And I was like, I love the buyer book. Like, I love the premise of the buyer book, but man, I just wish we had like an app or something, because a lot of people, I mean, we still have some physical buyer books for the demographic that wants something to hold. But I was like, I just feel like nowadays everybody wants something digitally. And then if we have to change something, we don't have to reprint the whole thing. And Brad was like, oh, well, let me look into that. And then I don't
Wow.
have one.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause even like nobody wants to like take all these like papers anymore, right? They're like, that's just gonna go in my recycling bin. Thank you.
Well, and it's hard to share that, like there's so many different buyer categories, right? Like if you've got a single female who's really going to bounce a lot of her ideas and decision makings off of a dad or an uncle or a brother, well, they weren't there for our buyer appointment, and so then she's got to go like regurgitate all of this, or she's got to go, sit down and show it to them, versus now we have it all in our app so she can share it with whomever, and it's a lot. Then they've got a copy and I don't have to worry about something getting lost in translation. Or if you've got only time to meet with one partner, then they can share it with the other partner, and it's all right there.
We were also getting like the walks of shame, like after people close and they move, they would come back in our office and be like, I liked it, but I don't need it anymore. And they felt bad. And we're like, well, thanks for bringing it back. We might keep it.
That was really nice. Yeah.
It was nice. Yeah.
That's amazing. I know, even at my kid's school, I'm like, oh my God, the papers. Like,
So
like, what do I even do with all these papers? Like, it's literally going into my recycling bin. Like, thank you, but like,
So
is there an easier way, right?
yeah. So now with the app, we took pretty much everything that's in there, put our listing presentation on the app, put our buyer presentation on the app. So now the agents can go on it on the fly. It's always at the palm of their hand. They know where it's at, and we can update it faster too. And so we can stay a little bit current. So it's been useful as a like a reference tool as well. So they can always go back and remember what we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. So
another feature that I like too is they can connect with insurance, they can connect with mortgage. It's all right there. So you don't have to worry about, well, let me text you this person's information and let me text you this person's information. Like, it's all right there.
Yeah, we'll show everybody, like, I'll share my screen in a minute and show everybody like how you guys have your app resources laid out, because it's like really, really just like clear, and your buyer guides and your seller guides are done really nicely. I don't know what program that is. Maybe it's like, I know there's Issue and a couple others where you can digitize like your previously printed materials, I guess, for anyone who's wondering that. I know there's a couple programs that do it. So let's talk about like your tech stack. So you have the app and then the CRM, right? So the CRM is like your main hub. You guys use Follow Up Boss. So how important was it that you found an app that also fed into your CRM? Because that's kind of like your nucleus, right?
Well, yeah, y'all have gotten so much better with this new iteration that y'all came out with, because before I'm decently techie, like I'm not like a coder by any means, but I was going into Zapier, and every time a new person liked a property, I was making it go into Follow Up Boss and alerting and doing all this stuff. So y'all have fixed that. So, or you are fixing it. You're in the process of it. So yes, it is number one priority, because being an independent, we have access to any program we want. I mean, obviously, except for the stuff that the franchises are making for themselves, but we get pick of the litter. But the problem is the last 10 years or 5 years, you've had so much finance tech and so much property tech get pissed off and start buying each other that nothing connects anymore. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating. And when you're doing 450 transactions a year, typically, we have staff just to put shit into 3 different programs, and it's so annoying. So we went back about 4 years ago and said, enough, let's make it all work. We transitioned to Dot Loop. We've always been Follow Boss. we were the top producer for a really long time. So we were old school for a minute. And then we found out HomeStack works with it. And now that Zillow's kind of bought Follow Boss and everything else, like it's making it so much easier. We have so many automations that trigger and let our agents know when somebody's looking and doing. And oh, it is one of the biggest decisions was it being able to connect with our other tech stack was paramount.
Yeah, because the app lets you tag your people and those tags can match up and Follow Up Boss, which is super helpful. So, you know, because you can tag your buyers and your sellers a gazillion different ways. And so it just really helps when you can match up the tags so that if you're quickly searching for people or you want to send a push notification out to somebody, it's going, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. So what automations do you have set up in Follow Up Boss? Is it automations when somebody downloads the app, they get something from Follow Up Boss, or vice versa? Somebody goes into Follow Up Boss and then it triggers them to download the app, or both?
Yeah. So it was being when somebody would be in the app and like a property or have a question, we would put all that stuff into the contact card on Follow Boss. So there was a reference tool. We have a leads coordinator, an ISA, if you will. We've got one that's joined us again, which has been great because now we have people that we try and take them off of Zillow. We try and take them off of their portals and say, hey, try our app. That way we can communicate. So we know when they resurface, because we know they're like, leads are like sharks. They go away for a little bit, they come back. So we got to know when they're back. So that's been super helpful. So it all stems from that. But it also helps us with events too. So we've built in some integrations because we do a lot of company events.
Yeah.
I think in the realm of about 12 or 14 events a year in each market. And so what we've gotten towards is, so Mary Lane just did her, I don't know, 1,030th closing, I think, in the last month she ended up doing that with her career, right? So being that we've been partners for a long time, more brother and sister than anything else, she's like, I don't have time to invite all these people to every single event. I don't blah, 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 right? Well, the app with the push notifications, and she's taken the bull by the horns because she's gotten people signed up. Now she just has to do a push notification and everybody's invited. And it just saved her probably 20 hours every quarter of inviting people to an event.
Yeah.
But what we do is when they come to the event, we have them sign in with a QR code, quick Google form, name, number, email. We have it check it against Follow Up Boss. If they have the app, we're good. If they don't, they get an email saying they're going to sign up for it. And that's how they get their drink tickets or their cookies or their pumpkins or whatever it is. So we're kind of forcing our clients to join the app selfishly, so we don't have to text and call them.
We're not forcing, we're incentivizing.
What
No,
that's
genius. That's genius. Withhold a drink, withhold a pumpkin, withhold a cookie.
Yes.
Whatever you got to do to get those app downloads.
So yeah, it works well.
That's amazing. So it's a Google form, and then that goes up against FUB, checks it.
Yeah. So we use Zapier. So Zapier integrates, right? So everybody knows Zapier is kind of like that octopus that connects programs that don't typically connect. But again, y'all are getting connected a lot better. But we just say, find this person with their number or email in Follow Boss. If it's there, do this. If it's not, send this email. And we'll start a registration form.
That's amazing. That is so smart. Yeah, because you guys do and just to fill everyone in, just because I've been following you guys for a while, they do a ton of community events, right? In all of your different markets. And that's what they mean about the best place to probably share your app and make it a part of your marketing for that event is make it part of the fabric of the event, right? So either they have to scan the QR code to come in or get the drink tickets or the cookies or the pumpkins, whatever the season is, right? There's a fun way to incorporate it, and it's fun, right? It's low key. It doesn't feel salesy. Where some other things might feel like a little bit more salesy when you're trying to get someone to do this or that, to win this or that, but people love a good contest, I will say.
Well, so we're doing that too. So just to give somebody an idea. So we're in the South now, so no judgments here, but we have a thing called a peanut boil, which is where people boil peanuts as a competition. It's for dogs and cats, like spay and neuter or something, but we sponsor that. I'm not cooking peanuts. I'd love to, I'm not doing it. So we give shit away. And so we're like, hey, fill out this 6-question survey. What do you think interest rates are doing? Blah, blah, blah. They get a pair of sunglasses or something cheap. But if you download our app, which people do, we'll put you in the raffle for the $500 Yeti cooler. So now we're getting people that know us, that saw us, that we talked to, and now we're reiterating that concept with them. And now we got them on our app to hopefully get a mortgage, get insurance, get a home sold, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. And now I think we need to give everybody a boiled peanut recipe with the recording of this webinar.
Real easy.
Sounds good, I think. No, that's very cool. Probably some people watching this totally know what all of that is about.
Oh yeah, this is America. Peanuts are, yes, boiled peanuts. Everybody needs to know what boiled peanuts are.
I love it. I love it. No, but that's a really good idea. Something else that you guys have really been amazing at is getting your agents involved in using the tool, because we all know, especially if you're a team leader or a broker leader, that the shiny object, everyone gets excited about it for the first month, and then it kind of just like wah, or, first couple of months or whatever. So what are some of the things that you've been doing to keep your agents engaged? Like, all of your agents have like a very high number of customers in their app. They have chats, they have engagements going in the app. So what is the secret sauce as team leaders?
I think we are encouraging them to just integrate it in several ways. Like, everybody in their email signature has a thing down at the bottom that says follow our, go ahead and download our app. So that's just like a very subtle way. It's in everybody's email signature. It's on everybody's social media. But we really try to encourage them, when you have that buyer consultation or when you have that listing presentation, go ahead and capture them, because each agent has their own QR code. So if you register your own people, then you can make sure that they stay in your, I don't know what it's called, when we do these, when we do these big events and we've got, the mass public coming, sometimes we have to then sort through and be like, oh, this person came to the event because of this agent. Whereas if you are personally, sharing your QR code and your link, then you can make sure your people are getting, just into your app. So I think the agents have really just done a really good job of making sure that they post a link to their app everywhere, and making sure that that's just part of our, when we sit down in a buyer consultation, we sit down on a listing appointment, like that's one of the first things we do, because we go ahead and get them on the app, then we already have their contact information, and it's just, it skips a lot of the paperwork.
I think that's the key, right? Is just like making the app a part of your process and your routine. And this is just, first you pull up the slideshow you're going to show them. Next, you get them on the app. Like, it's just habits and routines are everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I've not had anybody say no.
And when you sit down to a buyer appointment, what do people really want? Like, they don't want to talk to you. They really don't give a shit about the paperwork you're talking about. They just want to see houses. So if you're like, hey, here's part of it. Now it's communication. So to the agent, we're selling them on how it benefits them, because obviously, all the benefits, but it's streamlining it. It's having it all in one place. It's keeping up with them. It's hopefully future sales when people start looking again. But yeah, people are like, yes, let me start looking now. The agents go ahead and set up a rough criteria of what they're looking for. So it's beneficial to the agents if you remind them it's beneficial. Plus, those systems out there for MLSs, and we're in 14. So everybody does something different. They suck. Like the automatic feature where they send listings to somebody, they're not good. And there was a good one out there for a while, HomeStack. I mean, sorry, it was HomeStack. They're still there. HomeSnap, they got bought up by Homes.com, and it's really left us at a detriment of an app. That's also why we started looking for you. So it makes their lives easier if you show them how. And sometimes that's sitting down and having classes. We've had, several webinars with y'all and trainings, because now they understand it and they're more encouraged to do it because they know it's going to save them time in the long run. And that's the part we had to really hit home. Every single month we talk about in our team meetings. Every month it's a slide deck. Who's got the most people? How are you doing it? What's the pushback? And we just keep going through it. And as a company, now I've got people on our app. So if this agent decides to leave, God forbid, I have all their people signed up on an app still that I can talk to, I can market to. Because it's not that our people go somewhere else. It's just people get out of the business. So now I've got all their contact.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because you could transfer all of those leads to another agent or keep them just for the push notifications or, whatever the case may be. So it's just constantly building that ecosystem over time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know, and the MLS is just like, it's pretty antiquated. If the only thing you're doing is setting your customers up on like an MLS strip, I don't think you're making much headway there.
No,
Yeah.
they're going to be on Zillow. And then they're getting talked to by 100 different agents and lenders. It's too distracting on Zillow. So you need something where they can just focus. And one of the things, I might be jumping the gun. One of the things I really love about the app is, especially if I'm working with, like a couple, right? Or even a mom and a kid, or siblings. If I'm working with more than one decision maker, right? They
Yeah.
can both be in the app, and then I can link them in the chat. And so that's where we can put all of our communication. So I don't have to worry about, well, the mom just texted me these 3 houses, and the son just texted me these 2 houses, and I just answered the same question on this text thread. Now I got to answer this question. Like, I can put it all right there, and they can start dropping their favorites. We can, like, it's just all right there, and it makes it a lot easier to communicate with each other.
Yeah, we all know there's those transactions with 15 text chains, like the cousin, the mother-in-law, and then your lender, and then sometimes 2
Right.
agents will work on a deal together.
Right.
It's like you want to get everybody on the same page, right? And all of those chats get saved in your transcripts as well if you ever need to go back for any reason.
Right. And they can drop their favorites there, so you don't have to worry about them having to, because what inevitably happens if you just set them up on an MLS drip, like they still go to Zillow. So then they'll copy the Zillow link to send to everybody. And then, you don't know what agent's going to pop up in that. And so it just takes that part out of it. Like, we'll just stay in the app, and then you don't have to worry about confusing agent for agent, and it's all right there for people to follow.
Yeah. So it helps people stick to you more than when they're drifting to the other portals.
Right.
Yeah.
What recommendations do you have kind of broadly for anyone here today to leverage tech to be more creative and stand out? Why me versus everybody else? Like, how can you use these tools to flex a little, right?
Yeah. My belief in life is if you make me feel like a herded cow, I'm out. Like, if you're going to give me the same shit you give everybody else, if you're going to make me if you're going to mass email me. So tech allows you to have an intentional, specific conversation to that person, whether it's keeping their favorites, whether it's keeping their likes, their dislikes in your database. So when you call them, if they're a Clemson fan or a South Carolina fan, what's going on in the conversation. But also, to your tech, it's a one-on-one conversation about houses.
Yeah.
So they can tell me their deepest, darkest secrets for the most part about what house they like or what house they don't like. And it is a one-to-one, and I feel like I'm heard, and I know it's just for me. And so I think that's the biggest thing that people need to stand out with is, let's be honest, the last, God knows, 40 years since buyer agency's been a thing, agents know what they're getting paid. And it's kind of like I used to be a server. It's like a server that automatically has a gratuity included.
Yeah.
I never think they're working as hard, right? Like, you're like, so that's how it's been. And now gratuity is not included. And so we have to show people why we're worth that $20,000 check that buyer may have to write, which they're probably not. But you do that by using the systems you already have, but making the people feel special. If you make them feel special, they're willing to pay you whatever you want. So I think that's where tech helps you have that specific, intentional interaction with your clients in your sphere of influence that makes them feel like they're appreciated.
Yeah. And the beauty of it too is, even if you've got people that aren't looking right now, I think buyers and sellers feel like, with this fast moving market that we just had, like, if I'm not ready to buy something or sell something right now, then nobody's going to pay attention to me, or I'm not important to anybody if I'm not going to buy anything right now. So the beauty that this tech brings is that I can watch what you're doing, like, I can see how many houses you like, I can see what you're looking at. And if even if you're not ready right now, I can reach out and be like, hey, I saw that you like 2 houses in the Shandon area. Are you open to, I didn't know we were open to that area. So it gives me a reason.
How did I know?
That's right. So again, it gives you a platform to have your clients, no matter what end of the spectrum they're on, and able to check in with them and let them know that they are still important to you, even if they're not ready to buy or sell something right now.
Yeah, it's a long game. First of all, it's a long game, right? And we're not in this as quick of a market where things are turning over like they were, number one. And number two, I think it's really, really interesting because I think that the common misconception about tech is that it's impersonal. But actually, it's really shifting to be quite opposite, where, like Brad said, you can turn it into this more personalized experience because that's where people are having more personalized interactions now,
Right.
which in 2024. So cool. So I'm gonna pop up. Let's see if any questions came through. Boiled peanuts are the best. That was one of our comments. How do you get your leads, Zillow, Google Ads, etc.?
So we're a big sphere-based company. So yes, we do have a couple of paid lead sources, nothing of substance, like nothing massively amount. We were back in 2018, we were probably spending about 150 grand a year on like Zillow alone. But we realized we're missing that personal connection because we're only gaining about 6% of our lead source. So we go ham on client events. We teach our agents from the beginning on how to cultivate, create their sphere, which is why we have the events. Because if you have one every 3 months, every quarter, you have something to invite everybody to. So now we're building community with our people in our community. And really, that's where our business comes from. Yes, we do have some lead sources to help. Mary Lane likes to call them peanut butter and jelly to help some of our newer agents, get through that first year or two. But no, it is the majority of our stuff is sphere based.
Wow. And I think that, a lot of agents will sometimes be like, well, I signed up for this tool or I signed up for this tech and I'm not seeing the ROI. And it's been like, a month. It's like, you have to build in, it's not just one thing, right? It's the events. It's maybe a little bit of the peanut butter and jelly. It's maybe, everybody working their own sphere, but it has to kind of all work together. But just talk to me a little bit about, what the importance is on that ROI and the reality of investing and the importance of investing in tools for the long game.
Well, I'll start with this and I'll make some people unfriend me on this one. But if your job is, if you're solely leads based and that is what your bread and butter is going to be, and you have no goal to get off of that, you're not a real estate agent, you're a telemarketer. Okay. So I'm okay with leads because you're going to take that lead and then put them in your sphere. And then you're going to nurture them by inviting them to events and making them part of your ecosystem. However, if you don't do that, you're never going to actually have a book of business that you can take with you no matter what. So it is not a short game. You're looking at least 5 years, in my opinion, and we've done this for 18 years now through a couple hundred agents. You're 5 years until that ROI pays off. Until that grind, until that being that agent they need pays off. So I don't think you can look at ROI, to be honest with you. There's nothing to gauge because what you're doing to now is setting those seeds to become the real estate agent. And you have to perform that over the next several years. So they remember you're Brad, the realtor, not Brad, the teacher, or Brad, the lifeguard, or whatever I used to do in my previous life. It's not a lifeguard. I don't know where the hell that came from.
That sounded cool though. It sounded really cool.
Yeah, me and David Hasselhoff crushing it. But it's a long term. And so many people get into this because it's like, I'm going to make money. I'm going to make money. I'm going to make money. And they're going to spend money, but they're not going to spend enough. Like, you want to get into the Zillow game, you can, but you got to drop at least $5 grand a month or you're not going to get anything. And that's the truth. So unless you've got deep pockets, you got to go deep inside into your community, into your database, which you already have. You just don't know how to nurture it.
And I would say the app, I don't look at it as how the app is going to help me get more business. I think down the road, we could probably track that and it may be true because anytime I'm anywhere, I'm sharing my app. So like I spoke at like a women's thing the other day, and at the end I had my app up there and they're like, everybody signed up. And so I'm watching these ladies look at houses, but I don't think they're going to buy anything anytime soon. But you know what I mean? So like eventually something like that may turn into a sale. But I look at the app as a critical piece of working with me easier and better. And again, our goal is to make sure we provide the best client experience possible. So this app is part of that, is part of me making it the best experience. And then by making it the best experience, they will be more likely to use me and refer me in the future. So I may not be able to say, yes, because of this app, I closed 3 extra deals, but what I can say is, since I've been using this app, every single client has been like, this is amazing. I love this. Your app is awesome. It's been so helpful. And I shared it with my sister. I shared it with my brother. And it's just a tool that I have to make sure I'm providing exceptional client service.
Yeah, and maybe instead of thinking about that like down to the penny ROI, it's have everything come back to what your overarching value is of the kind of agent that you want to be.
Right.
And every time you find yourself like straying from that ideal, go back to what your overall like mission statement is, or your goal, your goal that you started with, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could be in the grocery store and strike up a conversation with somebody about real estate and be like, I have an app. Why don't you go ahead and download it? And then, hey, my listing presentation is there. Like, you can go ahead and look at it if you want, right? Or my buyer presentation is there. Go ahead and look at it. So people, can kind of get to know you before they really, get to know you. And people like having that information.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pull up your app really quick and let's share my screen and show everybody what we're talking about. If my phone is going to share, there we go. There's your lovely Art of Real Estate icon popping up. I love your branding as well. It's such a unique color. But when you pop it open, there's a story behind the color. I can tell from that.
Just here's a word of advice. If you do a rebrand, make sure that you can get your colors easily in like fabric and stuff. Like, we can't match that damn color anywhere. So we're like,
we love the color, but no one makes it.
I touched a nerve with the color. It is unique though. Maybe that's why nobody else has it, but it's
correct.
Pretty memorable. Yeah. We matched it on the app, so I'm pretty proud of that. Outside of that. Awesome. So when you kind of open it up, they have, their featured listings popping up in purple here, but they have this little button at the bottom that says resources. And actually this field is now customizable. So you could have it say resources, vendors. Some people have it say community, whatever you guys want to have it say. That is a new thing that is editable. And then this is what they were talking about in their app resources. They have their Midlands resources, their upstate resources, East Tennessee. So like based on all their different offices and areas. And then when you get in there, their buyer strategy book, their seller resource guide. And then this is really cool. They have digitized all of their guides, which look beautiful. And then people don't have to carry the heavy books anymore and bring them back to the office. And they can kind of just look in here and, you can zoom in and you can zoom out and whatever the case may be. But it's just a really easy way for people to just kind of like peruse on their own and like get to know you and get to know what you're all about. They might not be quite at this point, but it's part of the know, like, trust and the exploration process. And then you guys have the fun like bites and sites where you have cool stuff. I love how ingrained you all are in your community and in each one of these communities, really.
Well,
yeah, that's a big aspect of
it. We always tell people, we tell our agents, like, no one wants to live where no one wants to live. So part of our job is to get out there and really invest our time and our talents into connecting people and making these communities places that people want to live.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I always think of like Chip and Joanna Gaines, like Waco, Texas, like before they like put it on the map, right? Like who would have ever thought in a million years? But you can do this right through your app. It builds a community, right? Let's talk a little bit about the custom push notifications, because actually no other real estate app has this feature. And so you can put people on the drips where, you're putting them on like property drips. Well, they will get like new or, status or price change, but you can also send people these customized push notifications. So this is what they were talking about, where they will blast out about community events, or one of their vendors need reliable roofing. And then here is one of their favorite roofers wow, this is actually a really cool like drone shot. These roofers are like doing some pretty cool video stuff. Or, you know, featured listing alert, and then they can pop this open and talk about the listing. Oh, this also goes to your Facebook, I want to say too. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. And so it's kind of all coming full circle. And I think the same thing for ROI kind of goes back to like your social media. Like, how do you prove the ROI on every single social media post that you've done? You can't. It's something that you build over time, right? Because you guys have really strong social media as well, and you've talked about the app on your social. But I think it's just important to think of a lot of these things as like the bigger picture. So here's, you know, going back to their blog post. So a lot of really kind of cool and creative ways that you all have used these custom push notifications. So if you're looking for some push notification inspiration or some app resource inspiration, this is a really, really nice way that they've had this set up. What else did I want to show you guys on here? Alerts. Oh, the property drips. So these are what they come through and look like when somebody has been set up on a saved search from the app, as opposed to like your MLS drip. In MLS, they're just getting this one email that's going amongst 1,000 other, you know, emails from school or whatever the case may be. But if they're coming from the app, you're getting like a push notification. And then you're also getting like either price and status change if you favorited a property, and it's taking people right to that property. So it's staying in front of them, it's staying top of mind, it's getting eyeballs on other content that you're doing or community events you might be having. So I think push notifications are kind of the new way that people want to be communicated to. What do you guys think? Email's kind of just getting a little like clunky and just kind of washed out.
Yeah, I think because everybody gets email is kind of like the new like junk mail, you know.
I mean, even like your good one that you try to keep on junky, it's like impossible.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people I'm like, well, we sent you the email. They're like, I don't check my email. I was like, cool, okay, well, it's like saying I get too much
done with that. Just done with email.
But I think push notifications, they're quick and they're targeted. You know, it's like just a quick, oh, pumpkin picking this Friday, got it. Like I don't have to read through a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't even have to open it. You know, it just like kind of comes across and it's quick and to the point and just does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, because even for like my kids are on a million teams, and I was like, I'm not going to put the push notifications on from their Game Changer app or whatever, and I'm like, I'm missing all the information, like first to practice or something. I got to put the push notifications on for everything. But it is easier, and then it just disappears, and it's not junking up my inbox. Okay, cool. Anybody who has any questions, pop them into the Q&A box. We're going to open it up to some Q&A. We had a couple that came through. Lila from the Phil Tibby group in Arizona. Hey, Lila. Lila's awesome. She said, are you able to schedule these push notifications? Yep. If you go into your dashboard, and I can pull up the dashboard, in the HomeStack dashboard. I'm going to log in right here real quick. Switch my share over. Yeah, the pre-scheduling is really nice because sometimes you just want to pop in there and schedule like one to go out every Friday, right? Leading up to the weekend is kind of, or Thursday is kind of a nice way to get people in there. So when you're in your dashboard and you go down to push notifications, and then you go to send a push notification, there is a new feature. This was added a little bit ago where it says send now. You can now schedule a time and you can pick the date and the time that you want it to go out. So it's way easier. That was a good question though.
And then that's why the tags are important too, because you can send different push notifications to different tag groups.
Yes. So let me just pop in, and what Mary Elaine is talking about is when you're in your users tab and somebody comes up. So if somebody new comes in, they'll be tagged, they're automatically tagged as a new user for 7 days, but that goes away after 7 days. But say Nina comes in, maybe I met her at an open house and I want to like fill in her story a little bit more. I can click manage tags. I, chatted with her at this open house. It was the 123 Main Street open house. So I'll tag her as that. I know that she's currently a renter and she's going to be a first time buyer. And then, I'll make one that she's looking in the 700 to 900K region or price range. And then I can create that tag. So basically then when you go in here and you go to your users panel, like say you just want to filter by, all your first time buyers, you can click first time buyer and everyone tagged with first time buyer comes up. Then when you go to send a push notification, which is what we were talking about, and you just want to target to that specific group, you can click select tag and click first time buyer. And then all the people that you have tagged as a first time buyer come up. Usually it's probably more than 3 if you're consistently tagging people. And then it'll send that push notification just to those, 20, 30, 40 people that, you want. So maybe, you guys have those 5 different offices. Maybe you're having an event just by the Midlands office and you just want to send it to like the Midlands people.
Correct.
Because obviously people in East Tennessee aren't going to come to something 2 hours away or whatever. It's nice to be able to start to target market in that type of way.
Well, a couple of things just to piggyback on this. If you're using Follow Boss, it's super helpful because once the tag is added, you can start an automation. So if you had a first-time home buyer drip campaign, as soon as somebody comes in, you could start that if you wanted to. But what we're working on, listings are starting to sit a little bit longer. Sellers are getting antsy. Agents are getting even antsier because they don't know what the hell to do. They've never had a listing sit. So now we're working into our marketing scheme that our leads coordinator will send out a push notification once a month to our app about like, hey, this featured listings, for sale, or we'll come up with different topics. But now our seller sees us blasting it, not to our database, but specific people that could be interested in the house inside our ecosystem. Is it going to help? Help, I know. Is it going to make them feel better? For sure. And it gives them something to tactically do that makes the seller think that they're working hard to try and sell their house.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea on the seller side.
Yeah. And the devil's in the details.
That work.
You've got to do those tags. You've got to do those tags every single time, or your information is useless if you can't sift them through different kind of categories. You'll waste your time.
Yeah, don't sleep on the tags and don't sleep because again, you want to have the long game keeps coming back, right? You want to have a long-term relationship with somebody. You want them to come back to you for their second home or their vacation home or their retirement home or whatever the case may be. So to be able to go back and see those details, even like you said, when you're making notes about birthdays or holidays or favorite this or that or favorite sports teams, having those details is always amazing. Yeah. So the tags, if you guys don't have Follow Up Boss, they don't go back and forth in every single system. I know they're working on the tags between Follow Up Boss and the app. They might already go back and forth. I can't even remember off the top of my head right now because they've been working on so much lately. But for a lot of the other CRMs, they are trying to make tags come through as well. All right. Any last questions? You guys can pop them on through. We're running up on time a little bit, but if anyone has any last questions, keep them coming. What last bit of advice would you all leave with anyone here today who has been getting a little bit of like frustration with anxiety about not just being able to kind of press play and do the same things they've always done, right? About shaking it up, seeing this as an opportunity, maybe to change a little bit. Like what kind of advice would you give to people feeling that like squeeze a little bit?
I think now is more important than ever to really foster a sense of loyalty with your database. And that doesn't mean just the people that are currently buying and selling. That's your vendors. That's, your referral agents. That's everybody that you're working with. They need to know that I'm still in this. I understand what's happening. I'm not afraid of what's happening, and I'm ready to shepherd everybody this way. Right. So I think people more than ever when in times of uncertainty are looking for a calm, confident leader and somebody who can communicate well and somebody who is ready to, blaze the trail forward. And so I think now more than ever, whether it's this app or whether it's cleaning up your CRM or whatever it is you think you need to work on, now is the time to really give people a reason to hitch their wagon to your bandwagon.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. We had one more question come in from Corey. Hi, Corey. She said agent adoption. We're having a lot of resistance in getting agents to use the app. What's your best advice?
Well, Brad
Well,
would
we
say
paid,
start a competition.
yeah, we paid ours for sure. But I think it's if I could, I do one-on-ones with every agent once a month. And so we also do a training every Monday for the newer agents. One, we talk about how to use this as a tool and a resource to get going. Two, I talk about in their one-on-ones. In no way, shape, or form are they going to come to me without a problem to our one-on-ones that they want help with. There's always a way I can bend it back to the app. There's always a way that I can use a tool that we provide because as a company owner, you're only good as your tech and they're there for certain reasons. Yes, they like you, but if you make their lives easier, they really like you. So I always bring it back to, well, wow, that happened because of this. What if they were on the app? Or did you go through the presentation? Did you tell them why they should use it? And honestly, it lets them all. What I'm trying to get to is everybody has their own background and their own home life, and everything's going different for every single person. So if you can connect the dots on why they need it and why it'll help them, it'll do it. But yeah, we did a competition, and I think we gave out, I don't remember, it was $1,500 or something decent. And we just kept track, and we do every single team meeting. We pull up a chart, and it shows who's got the most active users and how much they grew by. And then the other thing I'll tell you too is you shouldn't do all of this, but there's a Strength Finders assessment, and we give all our agents that. And one of them is you can find out who your influencers are, who the other agents will listen to. So I always go and get them on board first because they want to help and show people. And then I let them have the stage and I let them tell the other agents how they're using it and why it's helping them. And everybody wants to be like the most, successful agent. So I usually ask for favors for my influencing agents.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And everybody loves a low-key competition, especially realtors, right?
For
Healthy
sure.
competition and the accountability of like pulling up the numbers. If like somebody has 100 app users and somebody has 2, when you pull it up the meeting, they're like, I better share my app a couple more times this week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey said, I'm not above bribing, haha.
Well, and I
Uh,
think some of the new agents, like when they're like, I don't have anything to do today. I'm like, well, go through your people and you sign them up. You go ahead and sign them up and then shoot them a text or give them a call and be like, hey, our team has this great app and I just went ahead and signed you up. You're going to get a link to download it. It's just a great way for me to keep you informed in what our team is doing. If you want to share it, great, but it gives you a reason to reach out to somebody. You don't have to wait for somebody to sign up. You can sign them up. And so I think for agents that are new to the business or even not new, but if they're just kind of like, I don't have anything to do today, like, well, go sign your people up.
There's never nothing to do, right? There's
Right.
always something you can do. But yeah, I've heard that from a lot of teams that have success with the app and getting their agents engaged is like it's kind of a good excuse or reason to reach out to people. Go down your list, add them, and then like do a follow-up phone call. So
People
can't hurt
love
but
to be invited to things and thanked for things. So if you can invite them to join the app and then thank them for downloading the app, you've done that twice.
I love that. Invite and thank.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So I'm going to show you guys really quick too, because this is kind of something newer that has been added. There we go. If you don't know, if you've been using the app for a while and you didn't know that you could create users, because previously you could just invite, you could add someone via QR code and you could add them via text in that way. But now when you go into invite friends, there's this button that says create user. So this almost like takes a step out of even like them having to sign up. So you could just put in their name, email, phone number, give them a password, click this button that says create user. It'll send them a welcome email. I think they just added that it will also now send them a welcome text, which is even easier. And then, like you said, the invite and then call and thank, right? So super duper easy way. Yeah. Even if you go through and you do, I don't know, 10 or 20 people a week per day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mary Lane's got close to probably over 600 people on the app just in her database, because that's not talk for you, Mary Lane, but you would go through and do 10 a day, let them know you did it, right? Is that how you did it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was like, for anyone who's like, oh, I'm just like struggling right now, or I just like can't get anyone to communicate with me, or I can't get any leads. It's like, you have them there.
Mhm.
Just give them something to engage and interact with you, and make it more fun, and make yourself look more interesting, right?
And the good news is right now, this time of year is tis the season to update contact information, because we're going into the holidays. So it is just super normal for random people to reach out and be like, hey, I'm just trying to update my Christmas list. I'm just trying to update my holiday list. And people will give you their information, no problem. And then you just also shoot on your app.
I love that. Yes, use the Christmas card list as an excuse to get more people on your app.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's amazing. Okay, one last question. Any luck with Facebook for leads?
Yes,
Weird.
but it's deep. So we use Curator for our website platform, and we do a funnel system. So we do Facebook ads. They integrate, they respond. We do Facebook ads. Our third one, bottom of the funnel, is, hey, whatever it is, like the last one's like, let's get started, download our app today, and we'll reach out. So yes, but it's a multi-tier approach. Unless you ran a competition on your Facebook page as your company, and maybe did an incentive for that as well. That has always happened and been pretty good. But yeah, I not to hopefully put my foot in my mouth, I don't see how this is an easy lead gen unless you're physically asking somebody to do it at an event. But just putting on Facebook, you might get a couple, but I don't see a substantial downloads from that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do fun, like, social media contests.
Mhm.
Like, hey, everybody who likes this post downloads our app, we'll put you in for the drawing,
Yeah.
or the Yeti cooler, or, gift card to a local restaurant. It's kind of a good way to, like, bring in, like, a local tie.
Yeah.
And then they'll do the drawing at, like, the end of the week. So I have seen a lot of those kind of contests be really successful on social. But make it a little more fun, make it a little more engaging. People have done really funny, like, videos and stuff. We had a couple videos. We had a video today with this team, the Aaron Bates team, that did a really funny video. But yes, okay, I don't want to keep anyone too much longer because we are pressing on time. But where can everybody follow you, find you, see what you guys have going on? I know there's Facebook, Instagram. I can pull up all your socials, and obviously we will tag everybody and everything when we post this and do the YouTube video. But you guys do a lot of, this is our Instagram. If anyone isn't following us on Instagram, we are at HomeStack Apps. Follow us, we'll follow you back. We repost anyone who tags us in any like posts that they do or videos that they do. We'll repost it. And then the Art of Real Estate. But you guys have several different socials. I think each one of your offices has a different social. So they're all on here.
Yeah, that's our main one. The art team with 2 T's is our main, where most of our deals come through. So you'll see the most of our stuff. And then you can follow me. I put it on my name. So it's Brad Allen SC on all my socials. So you can hit me up if you have any questions. I'm always happy to share. I do a lot of calls with you guys if people have questions or you need stuff. So I'm always happy to help people.
Amazing. Thank you guys again for being here with us today. It was really, really fun. A lot of good information. Like I said, we'll probably put this on YouTube and have a video that anyone who wants to watch at their leisure. But have an amazing rest of your week, everybody. Happy apping.